Hi, yo, weirdos. On tonight's episode of Deep Fat Fried, we've got just what you need. Surgeries that kill more than just the patient, the worst Olympic event in U.S. history, and more. Tonight, Weird History gets deep. Fat Fried.
Scotty was telling me about one of the things in this episode a little bit. Didn't really tell me what I mean, I don't even want to get into it, but like I was perplexed and I want to hear more about it, but I guess we're doing this sports one first.
So this is the 1904 St. Louis Olympic Marathon.
Yeah.
Looks a lot different than, just about 100 and, what is it now? 117 years ago. 117 years ago.
Wow.
So at the 1904 Olympics in St. Louis, the marathon was a complete and utter fucking disaster. The first place finisher did most of the race in a car. The guy that came in second almost died from eating rat poisoning, which will strychnine. And the fourth place finisher raced in dress pants and shoes and took a nap on the side of the road for part of the race. Sounds just like your typical marathon. Let me go eat an apple. What am I doing here?
Dude, this sounds like the coolest. Dude, if the Olympics brought back the ability to do shit like this, I'd watch it.
Yeah, maybe our society has become too like rule oriented, and we need to just take a break and just like
more laissez-faire.
Yeah, we need a more laissez-faire approach to some stuff. Someone wants to. Hey, is it the winner's fault that he was the one that thought of? Hey, I'm going to do most of the race in my car. He's going to try to drive around the track a couple times. I don't know.
It was actually a long city course. So first off, the entire course was very dusty, and breathing that dust caused all kinds of injuries, including one runner who was hospitalized with hemorrhaging after the dust tore his esophagus and stomach lining. So easy conditions to run in. By the way, this was in St. Louis in the summer. I was approaching about the 90s on that day. Very high humidity. And this is not your traditional, like, hey, they're going to run the Boston Marathon. They're going to close streets and shit. Like, no. There was no streets being closed. Like, you had to run the race. And there was cross traffic. You had to stop. If there was, like, a fucking bus, there's a bicyclist. If there, whatever the fuck is in your path, you got to dodge. You got to wait. It's like, imagine, like, a jogger running through a city. Like, if it's a stoplight and there's traffic is going, you got to stop. Same deal here.
What?
Yes. How about Fred Lors, TJ? I want you.
Hold on. Read this sentence, Scotty.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, you're right. The organizer of the race purposefully withheld water in order to test the effects of dehydration, which was a common, it was a common thing that was studied at the time. Like, people were very interested in dehydration. So it's like the people running this race.
Why did they do it during
access
the
to water.
fucking Olympics, though? Like, why were they like? Hey, this Olympic race where there's like a bunch of dust in the air and stuff, and people running through like crowded city
also
streets.
Hilly. It was very hilly too.
Yeah, you know what we need to do? Let's add a little extra spice to it. Deprive them of water. Let's test what dehydration.
There's only
does.
2 water points on this trail, if I remember what I was reading. There was like one at the 6-mile mark, and I believe one at like the 12-mile mark.
Dude, I love this. Dude, this is like a cheater-filled fucking shit show of a race. And an unethical experiment to boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah, it's got everything you want. So Fred Lors, pictured here, led the 32 starters from the gun, but by the first mile, Thomas Hicks edged ahead. William Garcia of California nearly became the first fatality of an Olympic marathon as he collapsed on the side of the road and was hospitalized with hemorrhaging. This is the guy that basically got the dust that ripped his stomach lining and esophagus. It was that dust.
That's no good.
Had he gone unaided for an hour longer, he might have bled to death. John Lord suffered a bout of vomiting and gave up. Smart guy. Len Tao, one of the South African participants, was chased a mile off course by wild dogs.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, he was chased by dogs. Look, it was a different kind of Olympics. It was a different.
How come there's never been a fucking movie just made about this race? This fucking race sounds badass.
Let's get Ben Stiller on it. It seems like he'd be good for this.
Yeah.
Felix Caraval trotted along in cumbersome shoes and a billowing shirt, making good time even though he paused to chat with spectators in broken English. On one occasion, he stopped at a car, saw that the occupants were eating peaches, and asked for one. Being refused, he playfully snatched two and ate them as he ran. How playful it was. A bit further along the course, he stopped in an orchard and snacked on some apples, which turned out to be rotten. Suffering from stomach cramps, he laid down and took a nap. Sam Meller, now in the lead, also experienced severe cramping. He slowed to a walk and eventually stopped.
I love it.
This is the best fucking race I've ever heard of in my life.
Hey, it was a tough race.
Dude, this race is badass.
So why don't you go to the next image, TJ?
Okay.
So same guy. At the 9 mile mark, cramps also plagued Lors. Or Lors, I don't know how the fuck you say his last name.
Lors.
Yeah, I guess Lors. Who decided to hitch a ride in one of the accompanying automobiles, waving at spectators and fellow runners as he passed.
What a fucking asshole.
So,
I love him so much.
This purports to be him in a car going, it's like, hey, nice race.
Bye, losers.
I mean, he was the first person to think of it, you know?
There's no rules against it, clearly.
You know? Doesn't sound like there's any rules of any kind.
And it says he got out shortly before the finish line, crossed it, which fooled some of the onlookers. He claimed he did it as a joke. He went to that one. It was a joke.
It was just a joke.
Dude, we just need to set up this type of race again. You know, Johnson is approaching the apple orchard. Will he eat the crab apples? Will he do it? This is a huge moment. The cramps from these are intense. Oh, he's walking into the orchard. Will he relieve him? He's grabbing a crab apple, ladies and gentlemen. This race just got interesting.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? Everyone before the race, 24 hours before the race, no food, no water, and no rest. The new Olympic Games. It's like obstacle courses and shit. They got to fucking do different shit. There's like food hidden there. Will he find the bundle of food hidden in those bushes there? Oh, I'm afraid he's passed it up. No, he's got wild dogs on him now.
I think it should I don't think there should be any help at all. I think it should all just be traps the whole way, you know, like
fuck, dude. Oh shit.
Yeah, quit knocking shit over.
Hey, you did that.
It's like a trip line that like cuts your head off or something, and like, you know, like an area where you release a bunch of fucking wild ravenous bears and shit.
Paul's taking it to the next level.
Fuck, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul's just taking it to the Running Man.
Death race.
I mean, hey, wouldn't this make more sense as the Running Man? You know?
Yeah.
Because they're actually running.
This is the second place finisher, Thomas Hicks. He was given a mixture of egg whites and strychnine, a poison that is often used to kill rodents or birds, as an attempt at a performance-enhancing drug. He was also carried across the finish line by his handlers.
This race is so fucking beautiful. So this motherfucker injected well, he probably didn't inject it, but he ate egg whites mixed with strychnine.
Yeah.
In the hopes that, like, this is going to enhance performance.
Well, it's understood that strychnine in small doses act as a stimulant.
I guess it must have kind of worked because he finished second, even if he had to be, like, dragged across the finish line by these guys.
I mean, look, he got second. I mean, he's really the true winner if you think about it. He ran most of the race.
Yeah, you know, he didn't. He was also on performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know.
I mean, look, these guys helping him. I mean, like, he's still walking there technically, it looks like.
Yeah.
He looks disoriented and stuff, but they're like, hey, you're going to finish this race. This is the fourth place finisher.
It sucks he's not the third place finisher.
Carabala was a Cuban national who raised money to attend the Olympics by running the entire length of Cuba. Can I remind that?
Do you see the entire length of what I see?
I don't know if that's what that is, Paul.
Can we zoom in and get a closer look at that bulge there? Because you know exactly what I'm talking about, TJ.
It is
enhance. I think that might just be the seam of the pants, Paul.
I think that might be his pants.
I don't know about that one, Paul. Some shadow there.
Somebody who was rocking that mustache must also be packing a little bit of meat. You know what I mean? There's too much big dick energy coming off of that mustache for that to be a crease in the pants, TJ. Well, I'm surprised at you, TJ.
Yeah.
You're usually very good at spotting a big fat palooza, but today you're like, no, I don't think that might be a seam.
Paul, I have a little bit of information I think might help your theory there.
Okay.
He gambled away all the money when he arrived in the States. He showed up for the race dressed in dress clothing. Thankfully, another runner used a knife to cut his pants and his shorts, which you see is here.
Yeah.
Caraballo stopped at a roadside orchard for a snack during the race. This is actually our stomach guy.
This is the stomach cramp guy.
Yeah, that's our stomach cramp guy here.
This is the guy that ate the apples and was like...
Yeah, the dude that stole the peaches. You're telling me that's not big dick energy? Just like, can I have a peach? No! Takes two and runs off.
Yeah. Gambled away all the money he raised on, cards or whatever the fuck.
You sure about this dick theory, TJ?
I don't know. I mean, he might have had a big dick. I'm just saying, I don't see it physically.
Seems a little ballsy to me. Don't you think so, Paul? A little girthy?
Yeah.
Well,
those two peaches were the size of his balls, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know about his balls, but I can see his dick from here.
Well, if we asked Freud, I think he would say it's penis envy.
Maybe. Oh, this guy. This is the guy I want to hear about.
How about Robert Liston, a surgeon in the 1800s, performed an operation with a 300% mortality rate. Instead of saving the patient...
No, hold on. Just let that sink in. Let that fucking line sink in.
Is that even possible scientifically?
He performed an operation with a 300... How do you think he got...
300% mortality rate, Paul.
How do you think he got that, Paul?
300%?
Yeah.
He would have had to have killed the patient and himself and like an attending nurse.
Now you're not far off.
So instead of saving this patient, he killed 3 people. In the days before anesthesia, Paul, surgeons had to get creative with their surgeries in an attempt to save lives while minimizing a patient's pain. One of the most effective ways was to perform the surgery as quickly as possible, sometimes in under 5 minutes in the day. So, of course, in the days before, I don't know why, it just repeated itself, whatever. There was an upside to operating quickly, of course. As the less time a surgery took, the less likely the patient was to bleed out, and that the less likely they were to feel pain. So it's good. So this guy was a fast surgeon, but there was a reason for it. You wanted the patient to live, and the pain is excruciating. Of course, there was a downside, as accuracy would usually be sacrificed in favor of speed. So your surgeon was quick, but not accurate. One of the most famous surgeons famous for his speed was Dr. Robert Liston, pictured here. He was born in 1794 in Ecclesmacken, Scotland. I've never heard of such a place, and I probably butchered the name, but so he was born. He studied medicine at the University of Edinburgh and quickly became interested in anatomy. He decided to narrow his focus on surgery and soon gained a reputation as a skilled surgeon.
And a super fast one.
Look at these.
Dude, they should bring back this, too. This week on Speed Surgeon,
Potomac quickly.
They have like 15 minutes to do an operation that normally takes 3 hours.
Can he save the patient's life?
Just look at the hijinks.
Here's some of his knives, TJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Imagine that coming out your leg. You know what he was known as? The fastest knife on West End. Whoosh. So he was particularly skilled at quick amputations, where most surgeons at the time lost 1 in 4 patients. Due to his speed and skill, Liston only lost about 1 in 10.
Not bad.
So he was saving lives. You might seem barbaric to us, but he was saving lives.
Compared to his contemporaries, he was the best.
British surgeon and author Richard Gordon, a noted Liston expert, claims that Liston could perform a leg amputation in 2.5 minutes, at one point even getting it down to 28 seconds.
Make a 28 seconds of work out of that leg. Good stuff.
And dude, the thing I love about this guy at the time is there's a bravado. He was so sure of his speed, he became known for his catchphrase uttered before every surgery. "Time me, gentlemen," he would say, holding up his knife. "Time me."
Everyone in the gallery would time his ass. Dude, that's so.
This
motherfucker was so badass. He had a fucking catchphrase, dude.
Time me.
Like, think about that. Not many motherfuckers were walking around with catchphrases in the age before television and shit. You know, he shows up. He's just like, every time, boom, time me.
I mean, so this guy,
time me, gentlemen.
Even
takes out his knife, his collection of them. I love it.
Oh, I know. It's great, dude. And the thing with this guy, too, so even taking this incident out, I mean, this guy would probably be pretty famous in his community. I mean, he's doing some crazy shit. He's like, there's like this fucking Speedy Gonzalez, a fucking surgeon. Your leg is gone. Next. Let's talk about the surgery that killed 3 people.
Oh, my God, dude. I got to hear this.
I know. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this all fucking day since Scotty came in here and was like, yeah, I talked about the surgeon with a 300% mortality rate. I'm like, wait, what? Like, Scotty was just talking. You know how, like, you know, I just kind of tune people out and shit. And I'm just like, Scotty's, I'm just like, yeah, that's great, Scotty. I'm working here, whatever, fuck. And then here's like, yeah, 300% mortality rate, blah, blah, blah. Like, wait, what'd you say? Yeah, the surgeon did 3% mortality rate. I'm like, what? Did he, like, kill the patient 3 times and, like, he resuscitated? That was my guess. I was like, oh, he killed the patient, then he resuscitated, then he killed the patient, then he resuscitated, then he killed the patient again. You know, that was my guess. And then he's like, no, he actually killed this onlooker and he killed this other person. It's like, what? Was it on purpose?
We guys are about to find out. So the scene you see here is pretty accurate of what you would have for a surgery. Patients held down. Surgeon's there with the knife.
I love that it used to be like a big spectacle.
Yeah,
like,
it was a spectacle.
Everybody gather around. Surgery time.
And that's what we're about to see in a moment. Actually, kind of a recreation of that spectacle. So let's get to the surgery.
Okay.
So Liston was performing a leg amputation, but worked so fast that he accidentally cut off 2 fingers on his assistant's hand. Both the patient and the assistant later died of gangrene, most likely due to the saw being unclean. But what about the third death, right?
Yeah, how did the other person die?
How did the other person die? Like, well, that's 2 people. So the guy didn't make it, and his assistant didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, doctors and other spectators would often watch these surgeries from the gallery. So this is basically a recreation of what you would see.
Yeah, this is like a big fucking operating table. Watching this shit go down.
Yeah, a bunch of people. So you're not only getting surgery without the benefit of anesthetic of any kind to dull your pain, there's also a crowd.
Was this like open to the public? Like you could buy tickets and be like, go watch some surgeries happen?
I do remember that happening and hearing about that, but that's not always the case. But sometimes it was for people were just trying to learn about anatomy and medical science, and sometimes it was for spectacle.
Cool.
So doctors and other spectators often watch these surgeries from the gallery, which is more up close and personal than medical galleries today, of course. During the procedure, of course, Liston accidentally swiped near an elderly doctor with a blade, slicing the fabric of the doctor's suit coat. Thinking he had been cut open, the doctor went into shock and died of a subsequent heart attack. Thus, 3 people died during an operation that was meant to save 1 life.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a bit of a stumble in your career.
Yeah, you know, like maybe this guy was going a little too fast. Maybe he needed to slow it down a bit.
I think that's probably the case. Though actually,
because when you fucking cause a heart attack and 2 people die of gangrene.
He was actually the first surgeon in the UK, I believe, to actually use anesthesia and put someone under for a surgery.
Oh.
So I actually have a little bit more about him. Though the 3 deaths were by far the most notable of his career, they weren't the only time that Liston gained infamy for a less than successful surgery. So another story is, while amputating another patient's leg, he broke his personal record by finishing the surgery in 2.5 minutes. However, in the interest of speed, he got a little bit too excited and, whoopsie daisy, chopped off the patient's testicles along with his leg. I mean, that's not so bad, right? Just took the balls too. Just a little bit extra.
That's no good. That's not a good surgeon.
Another one here is he once mistook a lump on a young boy's neck for a skin tag and removed it suddenly at the boy's home. The lump turned out to be an aneurysm of his carotid artery, and the boy died.
Oops.
Whoops.
Skin tag, chop. I'm bleeding to death. Yeah, well, mistakes happen.
I mean, look.
Pass the potato.
An aneurysm? Who would have thought it? Well, good day.
I mean, like, You know, that's how they rolled back then, Make a little mistake, you're like, whatever. People realize there's lots of humans back then,
Yeah, I mean, look, people die. They live short and brutal lives, unlike today, where, stuff like that doesn't happen.
What the hell is this, Scotty? What is this garbage?
You don't know what this is, TJ?
What is this?
What, you tell me you don't know the Old West, TJ?
I mean, yeah, I know the Old West.
It's how the West was made, TJ.
Made.
An entire town in Nevada, TJ, basically invented the concept of the Wild West by staging gunfights, bank robberies, and other Western cliches from 1800s dime novels. This is Palisade, Nevada, TJ.
Palisade, Nevada.
Damn.
Apparently considered by some historians to be the first theme park. Palisade capitalized on America's fascination with the Wild West by putting on shows for travelers and visitors. Local residents participated in Old West-style events soon after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, with the first ever event taking place as early as 1876. In many ways, Palisade set the foundations of how later theme parks portrayed the West, staging mock gunfights similar to those seen in modern parks like Old Tucson, a movie theater and theme park near Tucson, Arizona, and the Six Gun Territory Park in Ocala, Florida.
Cool.
I mean, this place is the stage for this shit.
It's like Old West Disneyland.
Yeah. The hoax was inspired by people's appetite for the Wild West experience and boredom.
So basically what happened is a lot of people would visit these towns like, we're in the Old West, we're in Palisade, Nevada. What goes on here? Let me look around this town.
So basically people went to these quiet Western towns expecting it to be like it was in their little fucking dime store novels and shit, and it wasn't that. And finally, this town was just like, fuck it, they want that, let's give it to them. So you'd fucking go into town and you'd see like all this crazy shit.
You basically have the makings of one of the first tourist traps that I can remember.
Yeah, this is like the original tourist trap. The acts of aggression were all a hoax by townspeople for the tourists who came in via train. Lore indicates the first staged confrontation took place when Frank West and Alvin Kittleby exchanged words, the former calling out, "There you are, you low-down polecat. I've been waiting for you. I'm going to kill you because of what you done to my sister." And then next thing you know, they're engaged in a mock battle in the streets, and the tourists are like, "Ooh, this is the Wild West. Look."
And the great thing, too, was the residents enthusiastically participated in the mock fight. Sometimes local members of local Native American tribes or railroad workers joined in. As the train approached, men, women, and children took their places, readying for their roles. Women cried and men carried off their targets as scared onlookers ducked under seats and hid behind cars, terrified for their lives.
Jesus.
Yeah, these people were not in on this shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, that's great. But people would fucking come to this town just because they heard these stories. Like, man, you gotta fucking go to Palisade, man. Shit's crazy in Palisade.
Never been to Palisade? Rough neighborhood.
Back then, you told people, man, there's this horrible, violent place where all this crazy shit happens. And instead of them being like, I better avoid that. Sounds prudent to avoid that area. People back then was built different. People were like, hell yeah, I could use a little action in my life. Take me to Palisade.
Palisade actually earned the nickname toughest town west of Chicago with almost daily mock fights. So as word spread of the ruckus events taking place in Palisade, the town gained reputation. Individuals who witnessed gunfights and other terrifying events after stepping off the train to stretch their legs took stories of what they had seen with them. Of course. I mean, they're going to be like, you guys never going to believe this crazy-ass fucking town I stopped in Nevada. It looked like a little nothing town. But of course, then, you see a massive gunfight or a bank robbery, and you're like, this is what the Old West is. Soon, newspapers, of course, bastions of information and accurate information as well.
Fake news.
Reported on lawlessness at Palisade, noting street brawls, slayings, and gunplay, completely unaware that it was staged.
Wow.
I love it, dude.
Dude, this is actually super dope.
I know, it's fucking awesome. I love it so much.
There's a crazy, lawless town in Nevada called Palisade.
They were just scammers, dude.
Yep.
Oh, man. God. The great scammers of history, man. So beautiful.
Of course, the town benefited as more and more people heard the story.
Of course.
And showed up in the town.
Yeah, because everyone's like, I want to see what kind of crazy shit's going on in this town. They show up, they spend all their fucking tourist dollars in Palisade.
The hoax lasted 3 profitable years. God, you gotta love, dude. They could run this scam on these fucking dupes for 3 years. So stage duels began in Palisade in autumn of 1876. Founded less than a decade earlier as a stop along the Central Pacific Railroad, the town was an active transportation hub. Countless people traveling between San Francisco and Chicago were greeted by some of the Wild West events upon arrival. The town may have staged over 1,000 performances for gape-mouthed visitors. As passers through recounted what they saw, the hoax perpetuated, and Palisade's reputation grew. Well, of course.
This is awesome. Yeah, they even says here a lot of times the tourists would run back to the train in fear. That's fucking awesome.
The shock value that Palisade residents were aimed for was achieved in spades. As visitors watched in horror while men fired at each other and lawlessness ensued, they were dumbfounded and terrified. Nevada historian Dan Ashbog noted that when shooting commenced in all directions, victims falling everywhere, passengers screamed with terror and ran for safe spots. They took refuge behind or often under train cars. Ashbog also pointed out, however, none of the passengers ever seemed to notice the victims were quickly carried over to Johnston Saloon. Oh, no, excuse me, not Johnston. Johnson Saloon, where they miraculously recovered and could watch the next act.
That's because when the last act. When the shooting starts, you're not necessarily paying attention to little details like that.
They just killed that guy again. Oh, Lord, run.
Run.
And now he's having a drink down at Johnson Saloon.
Local tribes and railroad workers would get involved in the reenactments, staging massacres, attacking men, women, and children near the railroad station when given a signal to do so, mock stabbing and mock scalping their targets. These people just kept escalating this shit. I love it.
You have to.
They use real blood from the local slaughterhouse, so you don't give a shit.
I mean, this town was basically just doing performance art.
But unfortunately now, nothing more than a ghost town.
As you know, it goes. Sometimes things goes up and sometimes things go down. Old Palisade, the mine that supported it and the needs of the people could not be met forever. That mine waned, so did the town. And then, of course, it became what we commonly refer to as a ghost town.
Yeah, it finally died in 1961.
Had a good run, though.
Chugged along for a little while, but eventually...
Apparently it flooded a lot, too. Wasn't a great town.
Yeah. In the wake of abandonment, Palisade remained in the hands of John Sexton, former head of the obsolete Eureka Palisade Railroad. Sexton's descendants sold Palisade, Nevada at auction in 2005 to an anonymous buyer. The unidentified new owner paid $150,000 for the town. According to the Sexton heir, also named John, my mother would shoot me if she knew what I'd done, but that's all right. My daughter needs to go to college. Palisade will pay for about 3 years.
Wow.
Worth.
And we come back to dystopian America. $150,000. That'll pay for a couple years college.
Dude, this reminds me of something that I read about where it's like this experience shit that you can do where like you can like hire this group of actors and stuff to like kidnap you or whatever the fuck, and they pretend to like take you somewhere. It's like some adventure type of thing for rich people. And like, you know what I mean? This seems like the same kind of deal. Like I wonder if you could set up one of these shit little towns out in the middle of nowhere now and just be like the only lawless town left in America. You know what I mean? And have people come to it and have a fake gunfight break out in front of them as soon as they pull into town.
Yeah, they just pull in like, what's going on here? Just gunfights, people getting fucking murdered in the streets and shit. Like, oh shit, this town's crazy.
Like have fake prostitutes where if the dudes approach them, they like, you can't handle this, honey. Keep going. You know what I mean? They're like, whatever. Just like have just every kind of vice.
I don't sleep with no pussy like you. Move on along.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it, dude.
Yeah. See, if Jeff Bezos or any of these motherfucking rich people had any creativity, they'd fucking put some shit together like this. They ain't got nothing.
Ain't gonna happen, dude.
See,
they
dude,
ain't got a fucking creative bone in their fucking
should do?
pathetic bodies.
Just make us another, not make us another, but make Westworld. If they really want to fucking top this shit, make it so you can do whatever. And
Dude,
then, of course, have the AI robots rise up and kill everybody. But whatever.
I'm telling you, man, this shit had comeback potential like fucking Disneyland too. Because you go the first time to get scared out of your fucking mind, and you go the second time to laugh at all the idiots getting scared out of their mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you fucking bring your friends there. Like, yeah, let's stop off in this little town.
Oh my god, dude, this is like this must have been a money factory back in the day, dude.
Oh, you know it was. Yeah, let's go to Palisade. Yeah, it'll be a fun time. Or they have some, good drinks down at Johnson Saloon. Get your buddies out there, let them pop out. Oh, no, I'm dying. Oh, my God, what the fuck is this town? Oh, my God, what's going on? Oh, dude, that'd be fucking great. I wish there was a town I could do that to, TJ, now. It's like, all right, if you roll into town, they fucking act like it's like Al-Qaeda or some shit. Like, oh, my God, no, we're going to be killed, TJ. The fucked up thing was with you, TJ, you see the worst in you. You'd be like, take Scotty, take him, kill him. Kill him now. Kill that son of a bitch. I have nothing to do with him. I don't know. Just kill Scotty. Please hurt him. Just torture him. I don't care. Just spare me.
Hell yeah. Now, I'll be using like a human shield like in those old 80s action movies. Like,
except for like in those, the human shield dies and doesn't get to take like retribution. But in this one, they're firing blanks at you. So dude. Scotty would fucking survive.
Yeah.
And dude, then imagine turn around and punch you in the mouth for using him as a fucking human shield.
It just gave me a cool idea for like, you should have one of those fucking movies from like the 80s, like, those where that fucking happened. Like, because you don't really see the human shield too much in movies anymore. But that used to be like a fucking big convention.
Well, yeah.
In those 80s movies. Like, there should be a fucking movie where one of those human shields comes back and fucking seeks vengeance on the hero. Like, you just fucking, I was shot 16 times, you son of a bitch. I barely survived, but now I'm back for my revenge. Anyway, that's it, right, Sky? We're done with your stupid history episode.
That's all, man.
I'm gonna use you as a human shield, Scotty.
Thanks, CJ. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Deep bad pride. Deep bad pride.